Happy Thanksgiving, Virginia exclaims as she wakes up the following Monday. Huh? Ellen asks. But it's October 14th. It's No, Virginia scolds. It's not that day. Not here. Why not? Ellen asks. That guy caused a lot of trouble, Virginia explains. We don't say his name. My fault. I should have told you guys earlier. The way the native people and the newcomers mixed out is a little different than it is in the non-magical history books. We have strong ties, is what my mom says. Sacred Smoke takes, like, a fourth of all the magical students in the U.S. And, around here, the local spirits were dealing with them way before us. So a lot of our rituals and celebrations come from them. So, this is Thanksgiving? Ellen asks. Not really, Virginia replies. I was kidding. It's Canadian Thanksgiving, I explain. You're Southern, so you don't notice it as much. Oh, Ellen replies, and we all set about to prepare our schedules for the week. I decide to focus solely on red magic this week. On Monday, I learn Breeze. It costs only 1 mana to perform and moves air around the caster's current square, creating a gentle breeze. I lose focus later in the week, but by Friday, I'm able to learn Push Object. It costs 5 mana to perform, but allows a caster to shove a target 1 square in the direction indicated by the caster. After class, I'm alone in my room when I hear a knock on the door. I open it to find Minnie standing there with one hand clutched to her chest. Hello, Tori. Hi, I reply with a bit less enthusiasm. I'm just making the rounds to invite everyone to my Saturday study sessions. If you need help with any of your classes, I'll be available in the library on Saturdays. I'm not sure what to say. Thanks? Okay, bye. She hurries off and I shut the door behind her. On Saturday morning, I get up terribly early and deliver the mail and allowances. Then, I'm free for the day. I'm not sure what else to do, so I decide to check out Minnie's study sessions and head over to the school library. Compared to the rest of the school, the library is fairly small and unimpressive. There's a slightly outdated set of encyclopedias. Ellen really didn't need to bring her own, and a good collection of foreign language dictionaries, plus 2 bookcases filled with books about magic and witch history. Most of the rest look like fiction, with a rack of popular magazines. The school actually subscribes to those. There aren't that many people in here on a Saturday, but looking around, I see... Hi, Tori, Minnie says as she approaches me. Do you need help with anything? Yeah. Minnie helps me out with my lowest level element, which is white magic, at least for right now. I do learn a little bit more about white magic, but it also increases my stress a bit. Minnie knew a lot more about white magic than I did. Was I really way behind where I was supposed to be? The following Monday, Virginia wakes us up early. Hey guys, I just thought I should warn you. The next exam is on Friday. But the end of the month isn't until next week, Ellen protests. Don't look at me, Virginia says with a laugh. I don't make the rules. Will it be like the first one? I ask her. Nothing doing, she replies. This time they drop us in a pit full of alligators and we have to fight our way out. You are such a liar, Ellen huffs, as if she thought Virginia was really being serious. It's not a lie if it's funny, Virginia counters with a massive grin. Yeah, but do you know anything real? I ask. Well, I'm pretty sure we'll be in the dungeons because pretty much all the exams are, Virginia continues, but I don't know what they're going to make us do. William said that we have to cast real spells that we've learned in class, so we can't just fake it with wild magic. so we'd better know enough spells. I had been learning a lot of spells lately, but were they the correct ones I needed to know in order to pass this exam? I'm still stressed out from my study session with Minnie, so I decide to use Monday to sleep in and reduce my stress levels so I can really focus on what I need to learn the rest of the week. Then, I decide to focus on my white magic, just in case I needed it for the upcoming exam. On Tuesday, I learned Spirit Sight. It costs 1 mana to perform and allows a caster to detect nearby sentience, including ghosts and creatures of the other world. On Thursday, I learned Empathy, which costs 3 mana to use but reveals the emotional state of a target. On Friday, I'm too stressed out about the test to pay attention in class. At the appointed time, I make my way to the testing room. I'm not sure why they send us to a specific room anyway, if they're just going to teleport us into the dungeon when we get there. Unless this time will be different? Nope, doesn't look like it. The world twists around me like it had before, and, once again, I find myself in the dungeon, but this time in a larger area, facing a deep, dark hole. There are a few rocks beside it, but nothing else from what I can see. "Greetings, Tori Brown," a disembodied voice says. "Behold the abyss. You will find the exit to the dungeon on the other side. This dungeon level is now warded. You may not teleport outside of this dungeon level. You must cross the abyss in order to succeed. You may choose to surrender at any time, and you will be retrieved from the dungeon safely. However, you will fail your exam and receive demerits. Good luck." So, now what? I turn around and realize that there's a path that leads behind me. I follow it around a corner and down another hallway, only to find a set of logs tied together in order to make a makeshift bridge. I use Teleport Other to teleport the bridge over the gap, making sure that it is facing north so that I can walk across it. I quickly head back and test the bridge with 1 foot. It seems stable, and I quickly make my way across. On the other side of the abyss, there's a long corridor leading up to a staircase. I climb the stairs and emerge from the dungeon, blinking into sunlight. "Congratulations, Tori," Professor Potsdam says. "For succeeding in your quest, you receive 5 merits. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed putting your skills into practice. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have another student to look after." As she heads off, I can't help but sigh in relief. I guess I can go relax now. On Saturday morning, I get up terribly early and deliver the mail and the allowances. Then I'm free for the day. Not wanting to fall behind in my studies, I decide to head to the library. It's fairly quiet, but the familiar faces are still present. Today, Minnie and I work on my green magic, and I learn a little bit more before I decide to head back to my room. The next day, I'm wandering the halls when I hear someone running up behind me. "Tori, there you are." I turn to see Minnie following after me. "I need you to sign off on the orders for the dark dance." "The what?" I ask blankly. "On Halloween," Minnie explains. "It's a ceremony. I can find you a book about it." "That's okay. What do you need me for?" "Each class contributes to part of the setup. We're doing incense. I've already picked some out, but I need you to sign to authorize the funds." "That's all?" I ask skeptically. "Everything else is taken care of. I've got the papers here, so if you can just sign..." I hesitate for a moment. I don't think I should sign anything without knowing more about it. I should really talk to Professor Grabiner. Minnie frowns. "If you say so." I don't really think she'd make up a story just to steal class funds, but it wouldn't be responsible of me to give money away for no reason, would it? I'll find you later so we can finish this, I tell her. Minnie nods, although she still looks unsure. All right. After a bit of looking, I find Professor Grabiner in one of the empty classrooms, scribbling in a large book. He doesn't look up at me as I enter, but it seems he can sense me all the same. Can I help you, Miss Brown? Minnie wants me to authorize some purchases for the dark dance. And are you not capable of taking this simple action on your own? I can't help but flush. I've never heard of the dark dance. I don't know what's appropriate. Ah. He closes the book and clears his throat. You are familiar with the traditions of All Hallows and the festivals for the dead? I know Halloween. Many cultures hold that, at this time of year, the boundaries between our world and the other world grow thin, allowing spirits and monsters to cross the veil. The dark dance is a local custom in which spirits are invited to take part in the celebration with mortals as equals. It is held in the dark, thus the name, so that no one can see who or what is in attendance. His face hardens. Do not attempt to get around that provision. Spirit folk are bound by many rules. Those who break the rules are punished harshly. Yes, sir. The ceremony will take place on Halloween night and last until 3 in the morning. Classes will be canceled on the following day to allow time to recover. As for the choice of incense, I have no particular expertise. You should consult with Miss Cochran. Yes, sir. I suppose I could have just agreed with her to begin with. Oh well, I can go and find her again now. Bonus time! In the first test, if you choose to try to jump into the abyss, you unlock a special detention scene with 3 options, which I wrote out for you below because it's a lot of fun. I decide to move forward. Am I really going to jump over the abyss? Yes, I am. I take a few steps back, then get a running start and leap, but not far enough. Ah! I cry out as I fall into pitch blackness. I seem to fall and fall forever. I'm wondering when I'm going to hit the bottom, but instead of splattering, I find myself back in the school. Miss Brown? Professor Grabiner narrows his eyes at me. What did you think you were doing? Being adventurous, sir? I ask with a slight blush. He visibly recoils. Smashing yourself to pieces is your idea of an adventure? I hesitate. The whole might have been an illusion? He shakes his head in disgust. Then use what little sense you possess to attempt to dispel it, and do not assume that I will always be there to catch you when you fall. For your abysmal performance, you will receive 10 demerits and detention tomorrow. I sigh. Yes, sir. Well, that stinks. On Saturday morning, I get up terribly early and deliver the mail and the allowances, and then I have to serve my detention. I am the first to arrive in the detention room, followed shortly by Donald. You screwed up your exam too? I ask. Exam? Donald repeats blankly. Well, isn't that why you're here? No, Donald shakes his head. Why are you here? I sigh. Never mind. The professor arrives and looks back and forth at the two of us. Mr. Danson, what could I do that would make you stop ending up here every weekend? I don't know. Donald shrugs. This is a serious question, Mr. Danson. I require a truthful answer. Donald pauses. What if you didn't like the answer? I mean, if the truth made you mad and you gave me another detention, then... Professor Grabiner sighs. You will not be punished for speaking the truth. I have ways to tell if you are lying. If you are, I may have to become creative. Well, okay. Donald thinks for a moment, then smiles. If you climbed up on the cafeteria table during lunch wearing a feather boa and sang happy birthday to me. Professor Grabiner's face falls. That would cause you to stop seeking out detention? Yes. Your honesty is duly noted, he replies. I will show you to your task. Follow me. Miss Brown, wait here. They leave the room. I'm not sure what Donald was thinking, but I bet the professor's not happy with him. A few minutes later, Professor Grabiner returns. He sits at the table and massages his temples. Sir? I ask quietly. Oh, you. He stands and turns to go through one of the cabinets until he finds a thin book, which he tosses onto the table. Read that. Write a report summarizing it. I pick up the book. It's hardcover with a patterned gold binding and a crudely drawn scowling figure on the front. The title is Little Will Went Up the Hill and Came Down in Pieces. Is this a children's book? I ask blankly. If you behave like a child, you will be educated like one, he replies curtly. This is how wizard children learned not to be suicidally stupid. Now get started. Keeping my sigh to myself, I sit down and begin reading. Wow, this is morbid. Every few pages, one of Willie's friends makes a mistake and dies in a new grisly way, while the adults in the background carry on having a party. British kids have to read this stuff? I look up at the professor. Can't you just spank me and get it over with? His face is impassive. You want me to spank you? There are 3 options. If you choose never mind. I was kidding, I say. I see. With a sigh, I get to work. It's not pleasant reading, but I guess that's the point. If you choose, it beats the alternative. Well, I don't want to stay here all day writing a creepy book report, I explain. I'd rather be punished quickly so I can leave. For several long moments, he stares at me and says nothing. Since the object of this lesson is to teach you the value of your own skin, I suppose the application of pain would be relevant. Stand up. Bend over and put your hands on the table. He's really going to do it? I stand up and spread my hands against the table's surface, feeling the slight stickiness of sweat on my palms. He's behind me, somewhere. I can't see. My robe swishes against the back of my legs as I shift nervously. Waiting. Yow! What was that? That wasn't a hand. Ouch! A second stripe of pain flares and vanishes just as quickly. How is he doing that? I don't hear anything moving through the air. I don't feel anything touching me. Ow! I look up from the table as Professor Grabiner walks back into my field of vision. Some of the tests you will face may be dangerous. You may face monsters in combat. You may receive injuries. Again, something unseen strikes me from behind. Much worse than this. Yes, sir, I say quickly. We will do our best to preserve your life, but you must be prepared to look after yourself. Every witch and wizard must be strong enough to uphold their duties. Yes, sir. He sighs. You may go. Feeling slightly embarrassed and slightly sore, I make my way back to my dorm early. Now, if you choose, yes, please. Yes, please. I say. I've been a very naughty girl, and I deserve a spanking. Really? His face is impassive, giving nothing away. You're even more of a fool than I had imagined. He seats himself at the table. In my day, Miss Brown, the headmaster often took his slipper to boys who had been bad, and no one thought anything of it. Of course, the word slipper was a polite euphemism. He bends over and takes hold of the ends of his bootlaces. He's going to hit me with his boot? That's not quite what I had in mind. He looks up, catches sight of my expression, and smirks again. Perhaps I should remind you, Miss Brown, that the object of detention is not to entertain you. I have no idea what to say to that. Now complete your assignment. With a sigh, I get to work. I suppose it was too much to hope for that I would get out of it so easily. Still, it could have been worse. That could have turned very painful or very embarrassing. Instead, it's just another boring detention.